Now we'll see one new topic, that is file handling. The file is named location on the system storage which records data for later access. Now we all know about files, okay? Files what we are storing on hard disk. Now this is a PPT file what you are currently viewing over there. There are video files, there are text files, okay? So important aspect of file are they mostly stored on your hard disk, so permanently stored. So data up till now what we are using in our program, it's stored in terms of variables, okay, which is stored in your temporary memory, random access memory. Okay, so if you want to store your data permanently, we are writing this data to file. Okay, so idea is to store your data permanently, we are writing data to file, and if you want to use it later, you can read that data from file. So these are main important operations in terms of file handling, that opening a file, writing to file, reading from file, and then once again closing a file. So that's what we are going to learn in this Python file handling. So see things what we are going to learn: different types of files, different methods regarding with file handling, as we have said right now, opening file, writing file, reading file, closing file, and some operations like deleting file, deleting folder, and likewise. Okay, so we'll see it one by one. So first, regarding with file handling, Python can deal with two types of files: text files and binary files. In case of Python, we can read and write text files, we can read and write binary files. Now somehow these two types look same, but encoding of these files is in different terms here. I mean, it's like in case of text file mostly in Windows we are opening it in Notepad. So text files contain text, okay, characters. So we can read it character by character, or we can read it line by line. Okay, so every line is mostly ended with new line character. So reading and writing text file is a different idea. And this binary files means mostly image files, or your word files, or say mp3 files, or video files, and all that. So reading and writing binary files is having a different idea. There is no such a new line and all that. Okay, so you need to think differently while reading text file and while reading binary file here. Okay, so these two types of files we can read and write in Python. Next, we'll check some methods or operations, better way, what we require while reading and writing file. So there are four basic operations. Whenever you want to read or write any file, first thing you need to open that file here. Okay, you need to open that file. So whenever you are opening a file, you need to think about whether that file exists or whether you want to create that file. Okay, whether that file exists in your own folder or whether it is available on some other folder or some say drive. Okay, once you open a file, you can carry out either reading or writing. Okay, and once your work is over, next operation is that you should close that file. Okay, so these are four basic operations we are carrying out on that file here: opening a file, writing or reading from file, and closing the file. Now we'll see first operation regarding with file handling, that is opening a file. For any operation like read or write, first we need to open a file. Okay, that operation we can carry out by this built-in function open. Just point out here. So open library function by which we can open a file, and after opening a file, this function returns an object of file which we can use for further operation. Okay, so this is a signature of this function open. It takes two parameters, file name and mode. File name is the path of file which we want to open. Okay, it can be absolute path or it can be relative path relative to program where we are storing. It's like if suppose both file and our Python file is in same directory, we can only provide name of file also. Okay, but if it is in different directory, we need to provide its absolute or relative path according to the location of file here. Second argument, that is mode. Now, first of all, it is not compulsory argument, optional argument. It's like it is having some default values also. We'll see what is exactly mode and how many modes we are available in our next slide. The thing is that by this mode, we are telling that whether we want to open this file for reading or writing or for appending and all that. Okay. So finally, we can say open is a function by which we can open one file. It takes two arguments, one file path, second mode. And after opening a file, it returns one object, and using this object we can perform next operations here. Okay, so in next slide we will check this file access modes here, means how we can access these files here. First of all, see, as we have said previously, check once again, as we have said right now, this parameter mode, okay, it's an optional parameter, it is having its default value. So here you can check this R mode is a default mode, means whenever you open file without providing access mode, it is always open for reading purpose. Okay, it is always open for reading purpose. So three modes are there, you can check right now, important one is R mode, one is W mode, one is A mode. R is a reading mode. So in case of reading, if a file exists, it will read from first character, and if file doesn't exist, it will produce error. In case of writing, if file exists, it truncates the file, and if file doesn't exist, it will create a new. So in case of write mode, if file exists, it truncates. Okay, but suppose if your requirement is like this, if you want existing content of file as it is, and if you want to write next to the existing content, then you can go for this append mode. In case of append mode, if file doesn't exist, it will create a new file, and if file exists, it appends to the end of file without truncating existing content. So these are three main important mode, R, W, A. Okay, now here you can see there are two modes, B and T, which suggest in which kind of file you want to work. It's like T for text mode, B for binary mode here. Okay, and these modes we can use in combination with previous three. It's like only R mode always opens connection in text mode. If you want to go with binary, you can say RB. W mode opens in a text mode. If you want to go with binary, you can say WB. Append mode opens in a append mode, in text mode. If you want to go with binary, you can say AB. So like RB, RT, WB, WT, AB, AT. Okay, likewise. There's no need to mention T because that will be also considered as a default mode. So default mode is RT. Actually speaking, default mode is RT, read in text. Okay, so if you want to read binary file, you can say RB. Next, another operator or another mode, that is plus. Now plus opens your file for both purposes, means like for reading and writing also. It's like if you say RB plus, okay, if you say RB plus, it means that you are opening this file in binary mode for reading plus writing purpose. If you say W plus, it means reading plus writing. So this TB plus we can use in combination with RW and A. Okay, so these are the modes, and one last one is X mode. This is exclusive file creation. It means that if file already exists, operation will be failed. If file already exists, operation will be failed. So one of these mode you have to provide over here. Open function takes two parameters, two arguments, file name, mode, and it returns object of a file using which you can perform reading and writing of it. Okay, so let's check now how we can open a file by writing one code over here. Here we are calling this open function. Now we are directly passing name of file here without providing any path, and this file will get created over there. And then mode, currently we are passing as a W mode here, and this open function returns object that we are storing in one variable fh. So this is how we can open a file connection here. So this much code we will run as it is only. Okay, so nothing will get printed. Now in this project directory, you can see one new file is get created, that is demo.txt. This file is created because we are opening this connection in W mode here. Okay, so if you want to read this file, here you can say R. If you want to read it in binary mode, you can say RB. If you want to read plus write in binary mode, you can say RB plus. So these are the options. It's like you can say W, you can say A, you can say AB plus, okay, you can say AT plus, you can say 18, you can say W, WB plus. So by using different modes, we can open this file. If you want to open this file in different folder, means right now this file gets opened in the same folder where our program resides because we haven't provided any path over here. So now in D drive, we are having one files folder. Suppose if you want to open this file in that particular folder, so you can say like this, D drive, and this is folder name, files. So what will happen now? because W mode is there, this file will get created, and where it will get created? On D drive at files folder. Okay, so run this code, click here. Here see D files folder is there, and you can check this demo.txt file is created over. So this is how we can open file. Now after opening a connection, we want to write some text to this particular file here. So we'll check how we can write to file. So to write to file, we are having two functions, that is write and write lines. By using write function, we can write one string to file, and by write lines function, we can write number of strings to file. Okay, in case of write lines, this S is just nothing but a sequence, means like list, tuple, something like that. And in case of write, this S is just nothing but a string here. So first we'll try this write method. Okay, so call this write function. Just write one string like this. Okay, we can write any number of strings by calling this write method number of times, like this one. Okay, and as we have said previously, when you say open, this file gets opened. Now you return 3 lines to this particular files. It is expected that you should close this particular file which is open for writing purpose here. So that operation we can carry out by this close function here. So just don't forget to call this close function at the end of your operation with that particular file here. Now mode what we have written is W. It means that this file, if it exists, it will be get truncated and it will start from 0 over there. So here we are executing our code. There will not be any output here. Now it said directly demo.txt, so this file will be in our same project here. You can check it here. Open this file and you can see there are some lines written over here. Hello, how are you? This is second line, and hi. You can check one another thing over here, that all these 3 lines written next to previous one here, because we haven't used any new line character over here. So just make small change over here, use new line character, so that every line will be on next line here. So run this code now and check this file. Now you can see all 3 lines are written on separate line here. Okay, and you can even check one another thing. This is the overwrite to the previous content, because when you are writing, it is just truncating file and starting from scratch only. Now suppose if I want to add 2 new lines to existing 3 lines, what I can do? I can open this connection in append mode here. Okay, and we'll just make some okay, we have written something like this here. Now execute code again and check output. Now see, okay, fine. Now this is written over here. The problem with this one is because in previous case we haven't add /n for this last line, so it is just appended to the existing content over here. Okay, so bottom line is this: W truncates your file, writes from scratch, append A mode, start to append into an existing file here. Okay, so this is how we can write to file by using write method. Now there is another method, that is write lines method. Okay, so we'll do one thing, we'll just make this mode as a W mode once again. Here we are creating one list, sorry. Okay, and we'll just create some text lines here. This is first line. Now don't forget to add new line over here, so that it will go to next line. And create array with list with this what we can say 3 text over here, like this is second line and this is third line. Okay, and here we are just writing it by using write lines function and passing this lines list to this function here. Okay, now it's a W mode, so it will delete all the previous contents whatever written and add these 3 lines to the file here. Okay, so you can check the 3 lines come like this here. Now they're just printed on next line because we use /n over here. Okay, so write and write lines, these are the 2 methods by which we can by which we can write to files, either either single line or number of lines simultaneously using collection. So see here, suppose if we give this wrong path, means like if there is some problem to opening this connection, suppose say if I'm here saying K drive which is not existing on this system here, okay, and we're trying to connect to this to open this particular file, and if you try to run this code, you'll get an error, okay, exception, file not found error, and your program will abruptly terminate. So we know that to handle such a sort of an exception, now we can't do anything because obvious this K drive doesn't exist. But instead of abruptly exiting from this code, we can use programming construct that we have seen for handling exception like try. Okay, and we can write down this code like this. Except, okay, and here we can handle this exception. You can write down proper name of this exception also, file not found error. Okay, or you can go with parent class exception. And here I can mention some problem open file. So here we are just giving one message like problem to open file. Now if you run, you will get proper message here. Okay, so in this case you can understand one thing. Suppose you are open your file, okay, that works properly. Here suppose, sorry, see this is working properly. Just this is working properly, but you are getting error somewhere here, means like for this line or for this line. So then what happens, your opening connection in your program get exit, but this close doesn't work. Okay, and it is expected that whenever you're opening a file, you should close it. In either case, means like you're getting error or you don't get error, in any case you want to close it. So for that purpose you can use this finally block what we have seen previously. Okay, finally block, regarding with finally block we said that whatever written inside this finally block will always get execute, either in case error or no error, but it will work here. So this is what we can say as a most logical way to handle exception in case of file handling here. Means you write all the statements which may generate error in try block. If you want to handle error and if you want to print some message, go for except block. If you don't want to do this, forget about this, and you can directly write down finally here also. Okay, so in that case, only thing is that suppose if there is any problem, you will get message like this one only, because you're not handling this exception. So better to handle exception and write your whole code like this. This is most elegant way to handle your exception, or most what we can say technical way to implement file handling operations by using finally block. Okay, so fine. Now there is another option also to implement this code here. See here, I'm just commenting out all these things, or rather will come over here, just close all these things here. Same code we want to write down. Okay, same code we want to write down by using with clause here. Okay, see here, first we'll write down, then we'll wipe out it. See, you can say with open a connection with file here, say as, give variable name, okay, and then write down all this same code here. Now one advantage in this particular case is that once these two lines will get executed, this connection will be closed automatically. There's no need to write down any code to close a connection. Okay, by using with clause, advantage what we are having over here, see, even we can do one thing, this line we will write down over here and like this. So this is the new way to write down the same procedure with open as f and f dot write lines. Advantage what we have by writing like this here, there is no need to write down f dot close. It will be considered when this with block overs, it automatically closes connection. But if there is error while opening a connection, once again it will throw exception because we haven't written any try, finally, or except all those blocks here. Okay, so either way you can write down, either you can go with try, catch, try, except, and finally. Otherwise you can go with this with block and you can write down like this here. Now next we'll see how we can read the things written to file here. So just how we have seen, there are some functions like write lines to writing to file. There are three functions to read contents from file. Simple one is read line. Okay, it reads a single line and returns as a string. Then we're having another function that is read lines function. Okay, it reads all lines available in your file and returns as a list of strings. And there is another option, read. By using this read function, you can read n number of bytes here. Okay, by using this read function you can read n number of bytes. You will check, or you can check options over here. See, here we are opening connection with R mode. No need to say R because it is default mode here. When you say f dot read, it read all bytes. When you say f dot read 5, it read only 5 bytes from file. Obviously there should be 5 bytes in your file. Next, you can read by using f dot read line, and on the same line you can read by using read lines also. So we'll see all these methods and we'll check how we can read from this file. The current content of these files are these 3 lines. This is first line, second line, third line, whatever. Okay, we'll check how we can read it. Now we'll write it directly without using any with or try and finally, but in ideal case you should write all those things here. So here we are opening connection with file. Now we know file is already there, but it is always better to use try option. No need to say R because it is default mode, means no need to say something like this because R mode is always a default mode, so we can say only this much. And now here we will read and directly print like this and then close connection. So execute this much code and you can see all three lines read here and get printed on your screen here. Okay, so this is the easiest option to read content of a file by using read function. Now see here in this read I'm saying 10. So it means that we are reading 10 characters only, or rather say bytes only. Okay, if you run this code it will read only 10 bytes, like this is and 5. Okay, if file doesn't contain 10 bytes, then it will obviously read number of bytes whatever available in file over here. Okay, so by using read function we can read all bytes. By passing certain argument to this read function we can read those many bytes from file. We can read single line by using this read line function. Okay, we can read number of lines by calling read lines function. Now here you can check this read lines function actually returns a list. Okay, so that's why you are getting this opening closing square bracket. So if you want to check the first line of this particular read lines list, you can directly use square bracket over here and say 0, so it will print first line here like this one. Or else you can go with loop and traverse all the content of this collection. You can print line like this. And here you can see you're getting two new lines. One comes with print method and one which is read from file only. Here we can say like this, end is equal to space, so it will print on same line and it will be printed on new line because file in itself contains a new line character which is read at the time of read lines here. Okay, you can check better way that in previous case. See, just wait. Yeah, when we run here you can check the slash n is attached to this particular string here, so that is always there because it comes directly from file. So this is way you can read by using read function, by using read function with number of bytes, or otherwise you can go for read line function or you can go for read lines function. See, even you can read all the lines of files without using the read lines function also by special loop like this. See, you can directly say for line in F and you can print line like this. This is also another way to read content of a file without using any read function. Means internally it invokes readline method only, but externally you can directly use loop like this also. Okay, another option we will check over here, that we can read chunk of data at a time here. Means see, here I am implementing one infinite loop like this while true, and then we are reading step by step by calling this read method and passing suppose say 100 bytes over there. It's like in one single stroke, instead of 100 we will say 10. In one single stroke we are just reading 10 bytes here. Okay, so here we are printing it. Okay, one sec, we can't do like this. Instead of that, data print data. So what we are doing, we are reading 10 bytes at a time, storing one variable data, and we are printing. Okay, now there should be some closing operation, means like break operation, because we implemented infinite loop over there. So here we will say if not data, means if data is not available, then we want to break this particular loop here. So see what we are doing, we are reading 10 bytes at a time, storing in data. If data ends, means there is nothing in data, it will break, otherwise it will print here. So check the output now. Now you can check, it is just printing 10 bytes at a time here. Okay, it is printing 10 bytes at a time like this one. It is printing online and breaking loop here when data reaches to end. Okay, now we can even access this operation randomly. It's like there are two functions, seek and tell. Okay, tell function used to tell current location of your reading cursor. Means like when you read 10 bytes, your cursor located at 11th position. You will do one thing, will print this current location over here by calling this tell method. See here, if you run this code, see it is printing this. So we do one thing, instead of printing it previous, we'll just print it after this print operation. Now check the outcome. Here its current location is 10, here 21, here 31, 42, 52, 61. Okay, so by using this tell method, we can get the current location of our cursor while reading. Okay, and by using seek method, we can move it to the further location. It's like here, when you say f.seek 10, it means that your cursor will be at 10th location. So you can check here, this is your file, demo.txt. That's once again 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's start reading from this 11th character R, and from there on it is reading 10 characters. Okay, so by using this seek method, we can move cursor as per our requirement, and by tell method we can get the current location of our cursor, and by using this seek and tell we can access file randomly. So this is regarding with reading from file. Okay. Next, closing file that we have already seen. Close is a function by which we can close file. So these are basic 4 operations: opening a file, reading file, writing file, closing file. These are basic file handling operations. So that's end about this file handling. I'll check some file operations, means like deleting file or creating directory. Okay, so for that purpose we are having one module, OS module, which contains some functions like rename, remove, change directory. So we'll just check these functions to understand the operations here. So we can check the first function, that is rename function. Okay, which renames your existing file to the new file here. So we'll just rename this demo.txt. Here we are importing this OS module. We call this method os.rename. Here we are passing name of file and then new name of file, demo1.txt. Okay. Print one message here. Success. It checks us. Here you can check name of new file will be demo1.txt. So this is the rename method. On the same line, there is one remove function by which we can remove this file. It's very easy to understand. Remove, just give the path of file. Now name of file is demo.txt. So see, it's get removed from your folder. Change directory, chdir, that will change the directory path. Okay, that will keep, you can understand it very easily. Make directory, that will create a new folder for you. Here I am writing of the folder as a demo only. Okay, so here you can see there is one folder name as a demo. You can remove this folder by calling this rmdir method. Removed. You can get the current working directory by calling this get cwd method. Get current working directory. Like these are some functions we can use to create or delete files and directories and all that. Okay, so that's all about file and file handling.